Hello and welcome to this edition of E-Inspiration here on India Today Television. And today I have someone with me who has been an inspiration for 50 years for us in Indian cricket. 50 years. When you think about it, he actually gave our cricket teeth and muscle, taught us how to stand up to the world, accorded us respect in front of the world, and thereafter became the voice of Indian cricket for the longest time. I'm sure you've understood who I'm talking about. Welcome Sunil Gavaskar, Sunny Bhai, to me, and been a real privilege to have known him for close to 2 decades now, and obviously to have been inspired by him since the time I started to understand cricket. Sunny Bhai, welcome to the show. You know, when I think back 1971, 774, 154.20, it all seems a fairy tale to me. Do you sort of still pinch yourself and think that you actually did all that? 10,122, 774 and everything that you've done?
Moria, thank you for firstly having me on the show and all the kind words that you have expressed over here. But honestly, I don't really reflect back on my career. You know, the past is gone. You know, it's gone. Try and learn from the past and look towards the future. But I think the best way to treat life, particularly for me at this particular stage of my life, is to live the moment, to stay in the moment, to try and do what I can best today, and not think too much about yesterday, and in fact, not even dream about tomorrow. So I think I don't really reflect back on what happened in 1971. I'm eternally grateful to God Almighty, and also, of course, the wishes and the prayers of you know, millions of Indians to have helped me in my career. And so that's it. I really don't look back on that 1971 trip, apart from the fact that when somebody mentioned it to me, or like you know, then maybe you reflect a little bit, but otherwise no.
But when we talk about it, Sunny Bhai, 71, 83, 85, you've been instrumental. Did you at any point, and because you just said you want to live in the moment, did at any point you thought that Indian cricket will become like this when you were playing? I mean, 250 rupees, and then 1983, Rajbhai going in and saying hardly any money. Thereafter, Lataji doing that concert, even then hardly any money. And now, did you at any point think that you were becoming, or you were instrumental as one of the key figures to making this into this billion-dollar enterprise that it is now?
Well, I mean, it's very nice of you to say that, but you know, you must remember that even before my generation, when Indian cricket first started way back in 1932, and I'm talking about international cricket, we had some absolutely fantastic players. Colonel C.K. Naidu, Lala Amarnath Ji. I mean, they were all amazing players. Amar Singh, Mohammad Nisar. They set the tone for the next generation. And then I think from the next generation, you know, there was, of course, Lalaji carried on till 1950, but there was Vinu Bhai coming in, Vinu Pankaj coming in, Vijay Merchant, Vijay Hazare, and then subsequently, you know, the Vijay Manjrekar, the Paulie Umrigas, all of them kept that torch, and they, you know, handed the torch over to the next generation. And if it hadn't been for the kind of cricket that they played, and therefore sustaining the interest of the Indian cricket-loving public, I don't think, you know, Indian cricket would have reached, you know, the heights that it has today. Because every successive generation kept that interest going, and therefore the future generation could benefit from it. So yes, you know, I think we've got to really thank, you know, the 1932 teams of Colonel C.K. Naidu, Lala Amarnath, Mohammad Nisar and company for having actually, you know, dug the road. Today we might be on a highway. Today we might be on an expressway. But you know, the dirt road was first dug up by Colonel C.K. Naidu, Lalaji and company.
Very rightly said, and that's how it is. The past always makes way for the present, and the present for the future. They did for you, you did for the next generation, Sachin and company, and thereafter, you know, Sachin, MS, Virat, and the torch has moved on. And that's where, you know, Sunil Gavaskar remains an inspiration. If you go and ask Sachin Tendulkar, he will say, I grew up watching and idolizing this man. And when you gave him his pads, your pads, that sort of, you know, inspired him. When you speak about MS Dhoni, Dhoni and the way you gave him a glorious tribute the other day when he retired, that shows Sunil Gavaskar, the man, the inspiration that I'm talking about. Sunny bhai, I want to understand that side of the story. I mean, let's take MS. These kind of figures, I mean, when you say, and I have issues with you, when you say, I want to leave this world seeing that shot, you are not leaving this world, forget that. But when you say such things, anyone who listens feels a high. Can you tell me where does that come from, and that story for my viewers once more?
Well, look, I love the game of cricket. I am what I am because of the game of cricket and because of, Indian cricket. But for Indian cricket, I actually wouldn't be where I am. So, my loyalty to Indian cricket has always been there. You start off as a fan of the game, then you get the opportunity to play for the country, which is, a blessing, God's blessing to be able to play for and represent your country. And then, once you finish, you're trying to help the next generation as much as possible by, whenever they come to you. There have been a number of times when some of the players of the next generation came across to me to talk to me about their little problems, which were really not really problems, maybe just a little doubt in their minds. And, just generally to talk about experience, talk about, what had happened earlier on. You're only too happy to pass that knowledge, whatever little knowledge that you have, to the next generation. Because what you want is to see the next generation do better than you did. I mean, I've always wanted that. I mean, for me, the dream was to go and smash the bowling from the first over. I wasn't able to do that. But when I see a Virender Sehwag go out and do it, the way he did it, when Sachin opened the batting, Sachin, Virender, Saurav, when they opened the batting, the way they went about it, okay, limited overs cricket, but Virender Sehwag in Test cricket as well. The way you see a Rohit Sharma open the batting in one-day cricket, the way he's opening the batting in Test cricket, smashing, from the first over. That is how I wanted to play. Circumstances and, of course, lack of confidence in my ability to do that did not allow me to do that. But when I see the next generation doing it, I'm absolutely over the moon. I love watching the next generation because there you see progress. There you see how they are setting the bar higher for the generation that will follow the next generation. So that is what keeps me going as far as Indian cricket is concerned.
Sunny bhai, if I understood right, and I know I'm simplifying here, are you telling me that Sunil Gavaskar wanted to play like Rohit Sharma in white ball cricket? If Rohit's hearing this interview, he will fall from his chair as anyone will. Are you saying that? Because that's the biggest tribute that anyone can possibly give. Sunil Gavaskar saying, I wanted to bat like Rohit Sharma at the start of an innings. Am I getting it right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at the way he gets the team up to such a flying start. I mean, from the first ball, he's hitting the ball, and he's hitting it through the covers for a boundary. He doesn't really go over the top. If you have a look at Rohit's innings are very, very calculated innings. He's got such a fantastic range of shots that when he starts, he's looking to play all along the ground, trying to find the gap in the mandatory overs of field restrictions. He's trying to find the gap and score the boundaries. It's only later on in the innings, as he's got a measure of the pitch, that he's looking to play the aerial shots and hit the big shots and the sixes. So yes, to be able to hit from the first over, it would be fantastic. And I know just to add to that, maybe you can go back and check the score sheets. The first person to hit a six for India in one-day internationals was yours truly, way back in 1974 in the first match. First ever one-day international that India played. I think we had 3 sixes hit. I hit the first 6, and I think then Brijesh Patel, who's now the governing council chairman, IPL governing council chairman, he hit another 2 sixes in that innings.
So Sunil Gavaskar is a man of many firsts. Yeah, of course, Sunil Gavaskar remains a man of many firsts. Rohit, you're a good player, you're a great player. I mean, somebody who I admire greatly, but trust me, this is a tribute you should be proud of. Sunil Gavaskar, national television saying, I would be happy to have batted like Rohit Sharma at the top of the order. That's the great Sunil Gavaskar speaking, and it's humility speaking. Sunny bhai, if I can ask you about MS a little bit, just because he's retired, now that it's sort of sunk in and we've all digested it, how good was, you've been captain of India, you've been a great of India, you've been one of the greatest in the world. If I ask you, how good was MS Dhoni? As a captain, where do you rate him? Is he actually your best white ball captain for India ever? Can I say that? How good was MS Dhoni as batsman wicketkeeper according to Sunil Gavaskar?
Oh, he was excellent. He was really right at the top. See, at the end of the day, any captain, any coach can be only as good as his team. If your team is not good, no captain, no coach can do anything. So your team has to be good. Your team's balance has to be good. And the Indian cricket team over the years has improved so much that it's a lot easier, perhaps if I might use the word easier, to captain the team because you have so many options available. Earlier on, there were not that many options available. So I think you've got to take that into context as well. But having said that, the way Mahendra Singh Dhoni captained, the coolness that he showed on the cricket field, and that's an important aspect because in a high pressure game like a 50 overs game or a T20 game, you need to be able to keep your cool. You need to be able to keep your wits about you. And Mahendra Singh Dhoni did that all the time.
And Sunny bhai, something that Kapil Paji started with Chandigarh in '83 was coincidentally carried on by MS Dhoni from Ranchi in 2011. And he actually, in that sense, completes the circle. Cricket becomes pan-Indian. This man, a small-town revolutionary, making it every person's aspiration in the country. So his legacy will also be that, isn't it? I mean, a small-town boy from Ranchi, boy next door, ticket collector in Kharagpur, becoming captain of India and perhaps the greatest white ball captain in the world. That is a real Indian dream, that incredible India that we say come true.
Oh, absolutely. Because look, every aspiring cricketer, be it a boy or a girl, will look at that story, will look at how he grew up, the difficulties that he had to face, and then what he became eventually. And that story does not actually tell you the determination, the effort that he put in, because that is something that only he and perhaps those closest to him, those who played with him, maybe at the club level, school level, and then subsequently when he played for Bihar in the Ranji Trophy, those are the guys who might be able to actually tell that story of what he would do when he didn't score runs, or how he would think when he maybe dropped the catch, maybe didn't have a good day keeping wickets. That is the story that needs to be told. We have already seen it on the screens with that MS Dhoni, The Untold Story, and that's also a terrific film. But temperament. It's the temperament aspect that has always been, in my way, the one that separates the men from the boys.
Sunny bhai, you mentioned that a captain is as good as his team, which is absolutely true. Do you actually think that Virat Kohli has the team to go on and win the World Test Championship? A huge series coming up for India in Australia. We lost against New Zealand, but how do you rate Virat as a captain now? Has he matured over time? And does he have the team according to you? You said this Indian team is so good, which it is. We have the bowling firepower, we have the batting firepower. How do you rate this current Indian team? And can you, I know still 3-4 months off, but Sunil Gavaskar, can you help me situate this? Do you think we have a chance against a full Australian side, which now has Steve Smith and David Warner back?
Definitely, without a question. Because India has got such a varied bowling attack today, and that is so essential. There's this saying that if you don't take 20 wickets, you won't win a match. No, you need to score runs also, and we saw that in England in 2018. We saw that in South Africa in 2017 when we went there 17-18. We got 20 wickets every time, but we didn't score enough runs. But now I think we've also got the batting to be able to score more runs than the Australians. Score that one run more than the Australians to win. We've got the bowling to take 20 wickets, to take 20 Australian wickets, one run less than what India has scored. I believe this team is perhaps the best ever test team in terms of balance, in terms of ability, in terms of skill, in terms of temperament that we have ever seen. I can't think of a better Indian team than this one. I think the 1986 Indian team that went to England was similarly very good in terms of the balance. Terrific new ball attack we had. We had terrific spinners. We had a good batting lineup, and this Indian team has got exactly that. Therefore, I have really no doubts that they will go on to beat Australia. All that they need, like everything else, is a good start. A good start to the series. The first test of the series becomes important. They begin well over there. I think you can be rest assured that they will win the series once again in Australia.
Sunny bhai, big words there. Just to go back what you said, you are saying that according to you, this is the best Indian test cricket team of all time. That's what you're trying to say, that's what you believe in. You compare it with 86. We are talking about Saurav's team, 2002, 3, 4. We are talking about MS's team, Rahul's team. We are talking about a lot of very good Indian sides. But in fact, Ravi got a lot of flack when he said that this is the best Indian test cricket team. So is Sunil Gavaskar putting his stamp? Did I understand right that Virat Kohli's current side, Rohit, Virat, Cheteshwar, Ajju and the bowling attack, you actually believe this team is the best Indian test cricket team of all time? Is that right?
Yes, I believe that, because it's got this fantastic bowling attack as well. And that's been the major difference between all the other sides, is that this team has the attack to win on any surface. It doesn't need help from overhead conditions. It doesn't need really help from the pitches. It's got the variety, it's got the skill to take 20 wickets in any kind of condition. So I believe that therefore it is just that little bit better than the teams that you mentioned. Those teams, those teams were also amazing teams. But in terms of the attack, they were just that little bit short. Just that little bit short. The batting wise, you can say yes, batting wise, the team that Virat's team and the team of the 2000s, and then our team in the 1980s, you could say batting was, pretty similar. It's the bowling where Virat's team scores, and therefore I would think that this team is, probably the best that we have seen in Indian cricket history.
There is so much criticism of the IPL. I mean, and when you and I are shooting this just about 3 weeks away, we've just seen markets being defied by IPL title sponsorship, 230 crores being raked, serious money, the brand remains robust. What are your thoughts objectively? Something happens, people criticize the IPL. Oh, why is this tournament happening? This is razzmatazz and extravaganza. For me, this provides the cricketing ecosystem that solidity. The money goes not to Virat and MS and the stars, but to everybody. State Cricket Association, broadcaster, media, journalists. The whole cricketing ecosystem benefits from the IPL. Your thoughts, Sunny bhai, on the IPL?
Totally agree with what you say, but where it all boils down to, where you get this, some of the odd people coming and looking for their 15 seconds or 15 minutes of fame, is the jealousy factor, the J factor, which I wrote about in a column a few days ago. They see the money. They only see the money aspect that is there in the IPL. They haven't actually thought about what the IPL does. Like you said, to the ecosystem, it's not just the players. You look at the cottage industry around it. The guys who are at the grounds, who paint people's faces with the colors of their franchises, who are making those shirts. Yes, I know they are counterfeit shirts. They're not the shirts, which the sponsors are paid lots of money to the franchise for. There are these, the vendors who have food stalls over there. There are the rickshaw drivers who take people to the ground. There are so many people whose livelihoods are because of the IPL. And the only people who will always criticize the IPL are those who do not benefit from it, who do not get anything out of it. And you can see every single time, and it's amazing that every time I've spoken about this, they say, "Oh, but you're getting something from the IPL, and that's why you're speaking." And I turn around and say, well, maybe because you're not getting anything from the IPL, you're criticizing the IPL. Oh, no. Then the argument is, oh, we know Indian cricket and we think, we are thinking of the good of Indian cricket. Oh, I see. So you're the only ones who are going to be sitting in judgment and telling us what is good for our Indian cricket? No. So this IPL thing is only because of the money that it generates that brings about this J factor. and which is the reason you see the criticism. And, if somebody wants to, be a little famous, what better than to target the IPL? The IPL is a soft target.
This current team, they're getting there, semi-finals, finals, not winning. What is the problem, Sunny-bhai? And do you think with a World Cup next year in India, World Cup the following year in Aussie, the third year in India again in 23, does Virat have it in him as captain to go over the line? Because we desperately need to win one World Championship. Your thoughts?
I agree with you. I think, a captain is actually defined by the World Championships that he wins, the World Cups that he wins. You can win the Asia Cup, which is fantastic, but you also want to win World Cups because, that is where your standing as a captain is actually going to be enhanced. So what I've seen is that India's top 3 batting lineup is such a fabulous batting lineup that often it has happened that numbers 4 and 5 at the initial stages of the World Cups haven't really got an opportunity to play a long innings, to get their eye in, to feel the ball in the middle of the bat. And suddenly, when your top 3 are dismissed quickly, and that can happen in the odd match. Unfortunately for India, it has happened in a knockout game where there has not been much chance of a recovery. And so that is where the numbers 4, 5 have not been able to cope with the pressure of having lost your earlier prolific batsman. So what we need to look at really is to have somebody at 4, 5 and 6 who are very, very good batsmen, who otherwise would bat at number 1 or 1, 2 or 3. But because 1, 2 and 3 are occupied, they're batting at 4. That's an important aspect. I think we made a mistake in not having a proper number 4 for the World Cup. If for 2019 World Cup, if you had a proper number 4 for the World Cup, then it might have been a completely different story.
Sunny bhai, my time is running out. 1970, I mean, you've got to permit me to close with you. 1971, 1983, 1985. You've been through Indian cricket's golden period. You've commented on it since. You are the embodiment of Indian cricket. If anybody needs to be called Mr. Indian Cricket, that's you, in every possible way. If I ask you to pick your 1, 2, 3 moments and your 1, 2, 3 cricketers, don't pick yourself because you pick yourself for me. But your 1, 2, 3 moments, as Sunil Gavaskars' 1, 2, 3 moments, what will that be? And the 3 cricketers, according to you, who have forever inspired. Is it Kapil, Sachin, Dhoni, or whoever you want to call? These are the guys who, according to you, have inspired generations. What will the answers be?
Well, I think in terms of 1, 2, 3 moments of Indian cricket, I think that's a little bit easier. The number 1 moment is the 1983 World Cup win. I can't think of a better moment than that in my cricketing career. Winning the World Cup. I mean, listen, the country is the best team in the world. It's a world winner. I mean, can anything be better than that? I don't think so. That would be my number 1. The number 2 would be the win against West Indies and England. That particular those 4 months in which we beat West Indies in April, and then in August we beat England. So I mean, I would combine that and make it 1 moment. And the third moment would be for me in Indian cricket, and I'm talking about time I played. The third moment would be beating Pakistan in India in 1979-80. Those 3 would be my top cricketing games. My 3 players would be top of everything would be Kapil Dev. He would be my number 1, absolutely, because I mean, he could win the match with the bat and with the ball. And thereafter, I think there are so many, and so it's a little bit unfair. But I would think that, as far as I'm concerned, the closest thing to batting perfection, Sachin Tendulkar. I've never seen a batsman, and I've seen some from the time I was growing up, from the time that I played, and now from the time that I've been watching cricket. I've seen many terrific batsmen, but nobody has come close to batting perfection like Sachin Tendulkar. The backclave, the head, the balance, everything. The way he would lean forward, the way he would, the balance when he played off the front foot, the balance when he played off the back foot, on the offside, on the leg side, and then in later years when 2020 came in playing, the scoop shot quite, fantastically. He had everything. He would be my number 2. Number 3, I think there are plenty. So I would rather not go into the number 3, but I think these 2 would be absolutely the guys that will be my all-time favorite cricketers.
Okay. I'll take that, Sunny Bhai. I agree with you on everything that we've sort of spoken about on this show. Let me just say one thing and I'll close. When we celebrate people like we were doing MS, just one thing I don't want you to say, and this is me as a fan, analyst, you're someone who is close to you. Never say I want to leave this world seeing that. Sunil Gavaskar has to score a century in every way. Chetan Bhai is not there. My homage to him, my respect to him. You've got to be there. Stay safe, Sunny Bhai. There's loads to do. You and I will do several celebrations. Next year is the 50th anniversary of the 1971 tour. Sunil Gavaskar has to be there because you embody what is good about India. So I'll close on that note, Sunny Bhai. You remain an inspiration. You are an inspiration. And thank you for gracing my show. It's a privilege to have you with me. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you for all the kind words for you. Thank you.